a laundromat. So that property extends through there.
Yes.
Also, does it extend to Firestone?
I'm not sure on that.
Or it just gives me a perspective?
Yeah, I'm not.
All right, but at least I have an idea, so that's quite a bit of property. And then I just read here, it says that they're going to determine whatever, the city wants this property. And I had asked is there any eminent domain being called on it? Unfortunately, I didn't have time to read this, but in just quickly glancing through, they say that the city will do anything to get this property. What does that really mean? I mean, can they force the people, especially the urgent care place, to leave? Because the city may say, well, there's an urgent care across the street, and the family pharmacy, which is on the other side of that small block. So what type of things could possibly be done to force these people to sell out? And also, is eminent domain is that being bantered back and forth as one ploy to get the city to get this property?
Okay,
Anyone?
Tracy, Ms. Cosby? Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Okay, so first of all, the language set forth in the ordinance is required, and it's,
Wait,
and I don't.
excuse me, are you with the?
I'm an attorney with the
Okay,
city.
fine. I didn't know who
So,
you were.
so
Thank
initially,
you.
the language is required as a matter of course, and council, as
Okay.
your legislative body, is required to vote on any processes undertaken as it relates to any land or redevelopment. So this is, I don't want to say premature, but this is the initial session whereby they vote to say, this location, we believe, is in need of rehabilitation or redevelopment for the purposes of the Fair Share Act, and we want to propose affordable housing or senior housing or whatever it is, and collectively they have to vote on that step first. Let me finish.
Okay.
The fact that it says eminent domain and/or condemnation or purchase is required language. So ideally, they would like to probably first research it to determine whether or not it fits the need, and then address through the proper notification the owner, and decide whether or not there is a fair market value that can be offered to the owner. And then the owner, there's a negotiation takes place, there's either a purchase or a settlement agreement that's entered into. The last resort would be the process of eminent domain. Eminent domain is not where the city or government simply comes in and takes property. There are due process requirements. There is court intervention. It is essentially litigation. So at this juncture, this is just council saying, here's what we want to do because we have a process of affordable housing that we want to build, and we believe that this fits the criteria. Everything is still going to come back to council.
All right, okay, so when you use the word "they," is it council? Is it city planning? Who is?
Council is
they.
Council creates the law in the city.
Right, so.
Right, they are your legislators.
Wait, hear me out, please. So when you say "they," so it's council, but were they advised by the city planner or whatever that we need this type of housing?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. So the people who do the day-to-day work in the city, whether it's the attorneys, whether it's the planners, whether it's the engineering department, depending on what they're voting on, yes, the executive branch of the city are the workers, the administration, and they look at what's in the best interest in their mind on a day-to-day basis and bring it to council, and then council decides, based on the majority vote, whether or not they want to move forward with further exploring it.
Right, okay, so this second reading, there's still time for, wiggle room to do things, to negotiate, whatever. So what happens after the second reading? This is going to go back to caucus council for discussion?
No, this is basically the approval that council is giving.
Okay.
The redevelopment attorney, maybe the engineer or the planner are involved to move forward in acquiring the property and whether or not they want to acquire it, but it still has to come back later for a vote. That would be via resolution if there was a purchase or a settlement or something of that nature for council to decide.
Right, so it'll be during a resolution, I'd be able to read full details, what the city is doing to try to acquire it, those type of details. That will be made known to the public?
Anything that's discussed during the Open Public Meeting Act or any documents that are subject to the Open Public Records Act are accessible to the public. If it is pending litigation, then during the pendency, that's typically not going to be available. But anything else that is not confidential at the time, you can acquire through an Oprah request.
To find out additional details, that's following up on the second reading, correct?
Depending on where the city, if the city even has those details, the professionals are not checking in every day.
Got it, thank
But
you.
yes,
Okay,
you're
thank you,
welcome.
Mrs. Mallett. Okay, Pat Hero, please just state your name and address for the record.
Pat, hit the microphone.
Yep.
Okay, Pat Hero, 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. It just amazes me that you're doing this. I understand that there is a need for low-income, moderate-income, and senior housing in this community. However, the fact is that you are taking away great businesses in the community that pay property taxes, that provide much-needed services to the residents of the community, and for what? Low-income, senior housing, or moderate-income housing in this location, right off of West St. George Avenue, Route 27, a state highway? To me, that doesn't make sense. I would rather have it in a nicer part of the community, not off of a state highway. You know, kids are going to be living in that building. Seniors may be living in that building. You know, you don't want kids to run out into the street. I mean, really, what are you guys thinking? I just can't believe that you would take away valuable Linden businesses, valuable tax revenue. Yes, I understand the need for low-income housing and moderate-income housing. But the fact remains is that what businesses are going to be torn down for this? Can you name them? I mean, these are businesses we're talking about. People are employed in these businesses. Some of them may lose their jobs. Some of them may have health insurance issues. Some of them may have health problems and have health insurance issues that they're losing because you are taking away their jobs. Do you think about them? Do you care about them? Do you care about how you're making their income lower? Doesn't seem that you are. Yeah, it's a nice theory for providing low-income housing or moderate-income housing. Let's just say low, moderate housing, but the fact remains is, what is it for? For us, for our tax base to go up? Because you're just using $2 million, as I understand, to start acquiring these properties. I'll talk about that later. And how much more is it going to cost? And how much are we going to be losing in tax revenue? And how much is the state going to be losing in tax revenue also? Because there's sales tax and service taxes involved. Have you really thought this all through? Maybe you should table this one too and think about it some more. I think it's a bad idea. And I think low-income housing is a great idea, but not in this location and not right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Is there anyone else that wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
I would like to, Council President.
John Kaiser, 23 West Monsell Avenue. All right, I can appreciate your explanation, the legalese, all that. What's going to happen? They're going to take this property, okay? This is, I can't, like, last month, it was an item of contention between the mayor and Roman. He said, oh, you know, I don't understand why you don't want low and moderate housing. What you guys, they that you're talking about, for the last 10 years, haven't addressed the low and moderate income housing in Linden, right? You just built unaffordable housing throughout the city. So now you got to circle the wagons and go, oh, we screwed up. Now the Mount Laurel Act, all that other stuff, we have to put low and moderate income housing. So now what do we have to do? There's no land left in Linden, so we're going to take people's properties. I posted that on Facebook. People are in the neighborhood of that. That's a 24/7 laundromat. I think it's the only 24/7 laundromat in Linden. This is people's business. This is people's livelihoods. The residents within the radius were up in arms when they found out that you're taking this person's property because they need that vital service to wash their clothes. I just think it's ridiculous. They're going to. I think you need to table this as well. Think about this. Have a heart and realize exactly what you're doing. Okay, you guys haven't addressed the low and moderate income housing, so now you're pigeonholed. Now you're in a corner, and now you have to take people's property, so that's a real mess up. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6837. Move for approval and request a second.
Thank you, Council President.
Mr. Jab.
No,
Hold
Council,
on, discussion?
sorry, we were going to do discussion, Joe, apologies. In regards to this ordinance, I voted no last month, and I'm going to continue to vote no on this, just because for the most part, I don't think we should be taking people's property. Just some background on this. This looks like it's the care station and the laundromat properties combined. Like, that building was sold in like 2012 for $3.5 million, right? That was in 2012, and basically everything's doubled since then. So what's that whole building worth? Brings us 90 grand a year in property taxes. What's that building's worth? $5 million, $6 million, $2 million ain't gonna do it. What does that mean? Are we gonna have like a public-private partnership? Like, who's the private part? That's my question. It's so sticky, and I don't want anything to do with it, and I don't think, we had discussions about this as a council. There are members of the council that don't like the idea of trying to take someone's property from them. We live in America, and we understand eminent domain has been used successfully by the government in cases and condemning whatever. However, again, the laundromat is a valid issue. Using your money, my mother's money, the property taxpayers' money to try and go and get these properties from people so we can do this. I believe in affordable housing. I think we need more of it, especially affordable housing that we can sell to people and they can build wealth and get out of the rut that is the society at some points. But I just can't vote for this and to try to condemn these properties if the word condemnation's in there, if they don't want to sell, The other property, the laundromat's been owned since 1975. They bought it for 150 grand, in 1975, right? What's it worth? That whole property, million, 1.5? We're gonna use your dollars to fund all this? I can't do it. Thank you, Council President.
Okay. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Jab.
Yes?
Caldwell. Yes. Mohammed. Yes. Roman.
No.
Strano.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hudak.
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 6838, please.
An ordinance authorizing the acquisition by purchase and/or condemnation of certain real property designated as Block 159, Lot 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 on the official tax maps for the purpose of construction low and moderate income housing pursuant to the New Jersey Fair Housing Law Act.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, come forward, please. Please just state your name and address for the record.
Diane Wolverding, 6th Ward. Where is this property?
This is the Nuno's property.
Nuno's?
Yes.
Oh, they're closing that down? Because I know,
Been closed, except for the front.
oh, I know, what's the other Italian restaurant that was sold?
Amici's.
Amici's. So this one, there's that many lots? Is it just on the corner, or are you taking houses behind it?
I believe it's just that property.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, and
the
that's going to
parking
be
lot.
affordable housing?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, Ms. Hero?
Pat Hero, 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. Yeah, I get really disappointed at the locations that you're putting this affordable housing, all on major roadways, major streets, urban areas, not much greenery, not much, airspace, so to speak. It just seems very, very disappointing. I think low and moderate income and even seniors deserve better. And I'm also wondering why, the fact is, is why you have not asked the people who are redeveloping this city, sort of like rabbits, it seems to me, why you aren't asking them to put low and moderate income housing into their developments. To me, that would seem to be a better idea. And I'm not sure that we're going to be needing much low and moderate income housing with all the development that we're going to have, because if we don't fill all this development, they're going to be starting to have to reduce their rents to be able to get people to go into their apartment buildings. When not only when you consider Linden, but you consider all the other communities, you just can't go into another community without seeing big apartment buildings going up. So, again, it's just very, very disappointing to me that you're taking away property from people and to build low and moderate income housing. There are ways to do this, but taking away property from people and condemning it, and also how much is this going to cost the city overall? If we just started $2 million, and Mr. Roman made some excellent comments about the property on West St. George Avenue, but how much is this all going to cost in the long run? Have you thought about that? And how much of our tax dollars are you going to be spending of our property taxes? And how much is the municipal? So Mr. Armstead cannot say that he's been able to keep the property taxes, municipal taxes level. Maybe they'll start to be increasing. Just a thought on that one. Thank you very much for your time. And by the way, I would ask you to vote no on this, but I'm afraid that everybody is thinking alike, so nobody is thinking except for Mr. Roman. Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes.
Council President, just so that the record is clear, so that there's no mischaracterization in the record, there's no taking. There's no taking contemplated. This is simply an ordinance asking for councilmatic approval to move forward for the purchase, lease, and/or condemnation, if applicable. Any finalization will come back before this body, but at this point, this affords all of the parties who are going to be going through this process to do it. And I've heard the word taking several times, and the record needs to be clear. This is not a taking. It's not a foreclosure. It's not a tax lien sale. This is simply the process by which to acquire property legally.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Ms. Cosby. Ms. Malik?
Let's be very quick. Just for confirmation, the Amici property, when that is going to be leveled, that will be housing placed there, correct? On housing. And what type of housing? High-end apartment housing?
Very similar to the buildings you already see. Very similar to the buildings you already see going up throughout the city.
Okay.
We're on this
so
ordinance on hearing right now, Ms. Malik.
Okay,
on
so on...
this property.
On Elizabeth Avenue, where that is, similar to...
We're talking about the Nuno's property right now. That's what we're coming up on.
But Diane Wilverding had mentioned, was this Amici's?
And I clarified it for her that it's Nuno's, and
So
then she was
Nuno's,
fine
okay.
with that. She wasn't
Sorry.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
John Kaiser, 23 West Munsell Avenue. You know, I kind of hate that I always get from you guys, well, listen, you know, last week it was, well, this is only first reading, and then next week it's going to be second read. It all goes through. Like, it all gets pushed through you guys, you know. So this is Nuno's. We know it's not going to... Is there any talk of anything besides apartments, ever? Like, this city, I can't believe how quickly the mayor has destroyed this city. You know, you guys just go, yes, 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 yes. And then what does John do? John goes and talks to the people, right, and gets a human side of it. I went in there and talked to the barbecue guy. He was almost in tears because he's like, yeah, they're coming. We know. He goes, I think we got a year or whatever. You guys don't see that side. You just rubber stamp it, yes, yes, yes. Don't be afraid to vote no. You know, it's just, it's really sad to see what's going on. You know, we need a school. But it's just going to be more housing. It's really starting to feel claustrophobic in this town, which is obviously turning into an urban environment. So,
Does anyone else wish to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6838. Move for approval and request a second.
Thank you,
Discussion.
Council President. In regards to this ordinance about Nuno's, very similar to the last ordinance. I just wanted to be said, Nuno's closed down a couple of years ago, for the most part. And Mr. Nuno sold the property to who he wanted to. And there were other entities trying to buy it so that they could build apartments on it. And he chose to sell it to the person he did. And now we're going to start pushing that person's hand like a year and a half after they acquired the property, or threatening to take it from them. It's not right. It's not the right thing to do. So I'm going to vote no, respectfully. Thank you.
Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Javits?
Yes.
Caldwell? Yes. Mohammed? Yes. Roman?
No.
Strano? Yes. Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6839, please.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $2 million for the acquisition of real property for the purpose of constructing low and moderate income housing for and by the city, and authorizing the issuance of $1,950,000 in bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, Pat?
Still Pat Hero, still 100 Wheat Chief Road. I'm not Wheat Chief Road, sorry, used to be 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. Before I discuss this, I just want to address the attorney about her comment to me, and I respectfully say, maybe I'm a little bit sensitive about the issue of eminent domain. I stood with the people in Piscataway when they took away the farm. I stood with the people of Long Branch when they threatened to take away their homes. And I stood with the people in Brooklyn when it was developed, don't destroy Brooklyn. So maybe, and there's somebody else I stood with. I know he led the applause for me at the Linwood Inn. Oh yeah, and I stood for the Linwood Inn too, amazing, I just remembered that. So I am a little bit sensitive about this issue. And I don't believe it's right to use eminent domain, and I also don't believe it's right to condemn people's properties. Because as my mother once said, they cheat on you. If they cheat on her with you, they're going to cheat on you with someone else. Well, if they're going to take your property, you better watch out, because someday they may turn around for you. They may someday turn around and take your property. So I'm a little bit leery about this. I'm also very leery about the $2 million, because as Councilman Roman so wonderfully put, how much is that building worth? A considerable amount. So $2 million may not cut it. And how much are we going to spend for this? And why aren't we rehabbing? Why don't we offer low-income loans to some of these apartment dwellers? Maybe some of the apartments that are used for low and moderate income housing, maybe to upgrade them a little bit. Why can't we do that as a city? That would seem to be a better idea than spending. How much money are we going to be spending at the end for all of this? Have you thought about that? Or are you just kind of like nodding and just going, yes, 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 yes? You know, there's a lot more considerations that are down the road, and maybe unintended consequences, they call them. Maybe that you should think about those before you start going in for $2 million, because today it's $2 million. Next time it may be another $2 million, then we need another $2 million, then we have another $5 million. Oh, by the way, there's cost overruns on the building we're constructing. Just think about that, please. And think, just don't parrot. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Malik?
Just to go on what segue from Patty Hero, so the $2 million, thank you for your comment, Mr. Roman, and what she was saying is adding another $2 million, $2 million, $2 million. What type of checks and balances if you keep adding on to this? Do people have memories when we first start talking about $2 million, and when the property owners, since you think that the properties have really bloomed over X number of years, so if the $2 million is lowballed, and we go into, keep going back for another 2, 2, 2, 2, do people have memories to say that we started at this and now we're at this, that this is maybe a bad idea? I just want people to remember this. I know, John, you're going to remember it, but I want to bring this up, that you're not going to be pulling the wool over people's eyes every time you keep coming back for another 2 million, 2 million, and 2 million.
Diane Wilverding?
When I take the train into New York City, right before you pull into the Newark train station, if you look to the right, there used to be all these factories, sewing factories or whatever. And I think maybe it was with HUD, but they knocked those factories down and they made individual homes for first-time owners. And I think that's what we're missing here. And I don't think the city has to put in as much money. I'm not sure about HUD, but I know people would prefer to have their own homes. And if you see them, they're pretty nice. And when you're a homeowner, you want to take care of your own property. And in that area where across the street, where we're talking about Nuno's, they have only a 3-story or 2-story apartment building. I think individual townhouses that are affordable, that again, I'm not sure what the whole thing is, but maybe with HUD, would be a nicer add to the neighborhood, because I live down the street from that awful high-rise, what's it, 6 floors, John? With the cars parked all over and the dog poop on your lawn. But I think individual ownership is a better idea for low-income people. Give them a start, let them own something.
Anyone else? Okay. Could we have a roll call, please?
Council
You
President,
didn't get a mover.
you gotta make a motion,
We need a motion and a second.
Okay.
and we're gonna go to discussion.
Yes, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 6839. Move for approval and request a second.
Council President?
Yes.
Thank you. So I've evolved on this a little bit, on specifically this ordinance. I'm going to vote yes this time. And the reason being is because, in theory, if everyone was looking for the good of, the up-and-comers in this world and the first-time home buyers, we could capitalize this money right now and acquire land that's available for sale, and then build 3-bedroom townhouses for someone like me, who's a first-time home buyer who's trying to stay in the city, and get them to them cheap and let them build wealth through that. And that's life-changing, generational changing. That's the definition of economic development. And you want to see the benefits that would do to a downtown that's struggling. It would do a lot. So we had a meeting on this. We have hired consultants and lawyers in regards to this. This $2 million, assume, and I'm not part of the discussions, but assume is just getting the ball rolling. However, like in theory, it's not a bad thing as long as we're not taking anyone's property. If we're buying property that's for sale, that we could develop into land for people to gain wealth and get a leg up in this world that's harder and harder to live in every day, I'm for it. So I'm going to see where this one goes. Thank you. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Mohammed? Roman?
Yes.
Strano? Yes. Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to consent agenda items.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman Armstead?
Yes, may I be excused, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Hudak? Yes. Okay, we're moving on to consent agenda items. All items listed with asterisks are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member so requests. We have items number 1 and 2. Okay, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move for approval of the consent agenda, items 1 and 2, and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Mohammed? Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to reports from the governing body. beginning with Councilman Javik.
Thank you, Council President. As chairman of the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of June 2024, a total of $10,212.53. Regarding the Linden Fire Department ambulance billing, the amount of $83,543.49 for the month of June 2024 have been added to the total deposits for 2024, totaling $549,704.68. And a notice from the Linden Fire Department, they will be having a recruitment fair to learn about a career dedicated to servicing your community. This is your chance to explore rewarding world of firefighting and emergency response. The eligibility requirements must be between the ages of 18 and 34, a resident of Linden, U.S. citizen, high school diploma or GED, and valid New Jersey driver's license. Our fire department offers a competitive salary and benefits, ongoing training and advancement opportunities, and education reimbursement. This will be held on Tuesday, July 23rd and Monday, July 29th at 6 p.m. at the Linden Firehouse Number 3, which is located at 1201 East Elizabeth Avenue. To apply online, please visit lindennewjersey.gov/LFD recruit. That's to apply online there, okay? And also, this is to access the registration and exam information. You apply on and then the apply deadline is going to be September 3rd, 2024 at 4 p.m. Also, the fire department would like to remind the public of a blood drive taking place at JTG Recreation Center on Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. To make an appointment, visit http://nybc.org/LETIZIA. Appointments are encouraged. Walk-ins are welcome. And this is going to be for the Gray Letizia Memorial Blood Drive. Regarding our construction code, the department has issued 322 permits and processed 31 certificates for the month of June 2024 and has issued 141 summonses. Monthly revenue is as follows. Building CCO permits and additional permit fees, $137,899. Zoning, $3,150. Court settlements for the month, $14,750. The reflective total being $155,799. From our Board of Health, a reminder that the third annual Linden Health Fair will be held on Saturday, October 12, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Local businesses that focus on health and wellness are encouraged to contact the Board of Health and ask to speak to the outreach team for more information on free tabling opportunities. Also, there is a dengue fever warning notice. Many countries around the world are reporting higher than usual dengue fever cases. Countries in the Americas have reported a record-breaking number of cases in a single year, over 9.7 million cases, which is twice as many cases in all of 2023. In the U.S., a higher number of cases than usual has also been identified this year. Of the 2,559 cases, 1,732 were locally acquired and 827 were associated with travel. New Jersey is among 5 states with the highest number of cases in the nation, with 41 cases, all of which have been associated with travel. Dengue fever is a viral disease primarily spread through mosquito bites, most commonly in tropical and subtropical areas. The best way to prevent transmission is to avoid or prevent mosquito bites. Dengue cannot be transmitted directly from person to person. Common symptoms include fever, headaches, aches and pains, eye pain, nausea, vomiting, and rash, and most recover after about a week. About 1 in 20 will become severely ill. with belly pain, frequent vomiting, bleeding from nose, gums, and extreme lethargy. Anyone experiencing any of these symptoms are recommended to go immediately to an emergency room or urgent care facility. And in the second ward, let's focus on vigilance. A strong neighborhood is knowing your neighbors. This creates a safe and harmonious environment. It's summertime. Let's get out and socialize. As I travel around the ward, I see some of the streets that we have just paved have settled because of the extreme heat and are most likely going to need repaving or patching. I have made engineering and DPW aware of this situation. Also, a lot of trees that were previously planted are going to need trimming and cutting. I have been adding them as I see them to our ward list. If you see one that's by your home and needs some assistance, please reach out to me. I will make sure that it is on the list, and if not, enter it for trimming and cutting this year. Another issue we have been...
Councilman, you need additional time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So another issue we have been having problems, not just the second ward, but the actual city of Linden, is a situation that is getting out of control and is going to be addressed. Homeowners are taking their two-family homes and turning them into illegal 3- and 4 residences by allowing basement and attic apartments. This is a big safety issue in the town. The city of Linden does not allow this usage. I ask our governing body to consider to increase the fines on this to at least 3 times damages, which means 3 times a tenant's rent, onto the owner. Under the law, as owner, he is also obligated to find these displaced people adequate housing. In addition, there is a problem with overstacking of housing and bedrooms being rented out and housing being turned into boarding or rooming houses. These have become major quality of life issues in Linden, with residences not being maintained and streets overcrowded with additional cars. I can be reached at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavick@linden-newjersey.gov. On Facebook, Second Ward Councilman Barry Javick, and additional information can always be found on our City of Linden website. Council President, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Caldwell?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I am on the Committee for Budget Review and Finance, and I'm going to read it. The payment of bills totaling $1,448,867.05. Bills have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, Finance Chairwoman, and a detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the Clerk's office. We are in receipt of investments made by the City Treasurer for the month of June at a rate of 4.24%. I move for approval, and I ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Javitt?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Mohammed? Yes. Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yannicka?
Yes. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I will be reading a report submitted by Tyrone Gibbons, Division of Transportation and Properties. He hereby submitted a monthly financial report from the Division of Transportation and Parking for the month of June 2024. This report includes the collection of on and off street parking meters, railroad parking lots, railroad parking permits, and merchant parking permits. On the Trenton side collections, it was $1,370. On the New York side collections, it was $1,130. For the railroad credit card transactions, it was $22,717.21. For the railroad permits, it was $540. For railroad mobile payment, 2320 parking, it was $11,149. Online railroad permits were $12,012. Parking meter collections, $10,136.25. The merchant permits, there was no nothing received. It's a grand total of $59,054.46. As the IT chair, I am pleased to inform that our city's employees have been attending the cybersecurity training. Everything is progressing smoothly, and I want to let the city employees know that I appreciate everyone's dedication to maintaining our organization's security standards. On Wednesday, there will be a grand opening of the Social Services Building on St. George Ave. I want to congratulate Mr. Watkins and his team for their commitment in serving our community. Your hard work and dedication are truly appreciated. I would like to address some quality of life issues in the Third Ward. Please be considerate of your neighbors when you're hosting events at home. Summer is a time for enjoyment, but we must be mindful of those around us. If you're experiencing issues with loud music in the evening, please do not hesitate to call me at 908-531-0676. I will contact the police on your behalf. You are not bothering me. I am here to serve you, and it's an honor to do so. Additionally, I urge everyone to drive carefully in Linden. The reckless driving we've seen is dangerous and could lead to serious accidents and has led to serious fatal accidents. We need to revisit the idea of temporary speed humps as a deterrent to speeding, as we cannot have police everywhere on every corner. Ensuring the quality of life in Linden is our #1 priority. And remember to be kind to one another. It does not cost anything. Our world is losing humanity, compassion, and unity. But we have more in common than you think. Challenge yourself to say hi to someone and be friendly. I'm here to serve you, and without you, there's no me. My motto is to follow up, follow through, and offer options, not just a staunch no. In a world of chaos, remember that family is everything and your health is your wealth, and take one day at a time. In the words of the late Richard Simmons, the difference between the impossible and the possible lies in a person's determination. Again, you can contact me at 908-531-0676 via text or call me, or you can email me at mcaldwell@linden-newjersey.gov. And that concludes my report, Council President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Caldwell. Councilman Mohammed?
Good evening, Council President and members of council. I just want to say to everybody that we have to really respect each other and that we have to regard human life as sacred. And in turn, with respect to noise, I've gotten complaints too in my ward about loud noises and people thinking that the streets is just a place for rivalry and revelry. Well, that's true, but you can't disturb others with your revelry. So those who have complaints, and I do get constantly complaints, you can reach me at 908-463-4843, and I will pass it along to the appropriate authorities. Good evening. God bless America, God bless Linden, and stay safe. Council President, may I be excused?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. I just want to start by echoing something that Councilman Javik just said. In my neighborhood, in the neighborhood I have the honor to serve, we have had such an increase in boarding houses. One was borderline a brothel for a while. They took a three-bedroom house and essentially turned it into like 8. And there were several people, 8 to 10 people living in this house, like in what are makeshift bedrooms. And it's happening on Jefferson alone. I think I got like 4 houses like that now, out of a total of like maybe 40 houses on the whole block, so, or on the whole street. So it has certainly become a bigger problem, and I would I would wholeheartedly support anything that can help with that, because that is a major quality of life issue for many people that live in this neighborhood their entire lives. So thank you for bringing attention to that, Councilman Javik. I'll help you out with that as best I can. Woodlawn is complete, so is Stimson, East Munsell. I said this last month. They look great. However, there are some patchwork items that are going to be coming back to get done. So if there's something that you think was missed on those streets, you live on that street, you think there's something we missed in the concrete work or at the paving, give us a call. Give me a call immediately, in fact. Special needs nights at the Spray Park, Wheeler Spray Park, which is run by Union County, and Commissioner Bodek behind me here. They have a great special needs nights for the kids who have disabilities. I think it's Thursday nights at 6 p.m., I believe, but the information's on their website. I couldn't find it off the top of just looking for it, but it's a wonderful program, and if any parents that have special needs kids, please utilize it. In Wheeler, they cut down a lot of trees recently. The explanation I was given is that a lot of these trees were victim of like the bug infestations from the last couple of years. I think they went a little overboard per se, me personally. I think actually I'm gonna represent every voice in the neighborhood. We all think that. Wheeler growing up was like a really tree-friendly place, and it's really starting to get to the point where it's not anymore. And it's just like, can we start planting? Because like this city has no trees left. I know it's a county facility. I'll talk to Commissioner Bodek about that. But like, if you're gonna build another turf field, that's great.
Excuse me, Councilman. Gentlemen, could you please take that out in the hallway? Go ahead.
Well, I want to speak to them and just see if there's. I know that there were plans years ago to put in another turf field, which I support it, and I know that they had to take out a lot of trees. But the law is, and I believe I'm going to say this off the top of my head, if you cut out a Green Acres tree, which that's what that is, you have to put 3 back somewhere. So can we put them back there? Hopefully, we'll talk about that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I do know about that. And I've been seeing it. Smith Street had a lot of utility work did, so did Pleasant, so did West Linden Avenue. I don't have an answer for you there on the recon of the street behind Walmart. It is a disaster. Don't drive on it if you value your car. However, Smith and Rebecca, they've had some meetings so far, so that work will probably get done soon. We repaved it last year. We gave Hampton curbs for the first time in the history of Hampton. Now that the utility work's done, we're going to have brand new roads again. That was the thought process behind doing it last year. Thank you, engineering, for getting that done. And that's it. Have a great summer, everyone. And if you need me, my cell phone number is 908-494-5784. I am situated at 15 West Linden Avenue, and I'm there every night if you need me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Strato.
Thank you, Council President. I have before me the personnel report for this month. Number 1 in the Police Department is A, accepting the voluntary resignation in good standing of Zakiah Brown, Clerk 1, effective August 2nd of 2024, and B is approving the posting for Clerk 1 full-time with a salary range of $37,298 to $79,370. 2, in the Department of Community Services, the Division of Public Works, accepting the voluntary resignation in good standing of Vincent Rios, Labor Tier 2, effective July 12th of 2024. B is approving the seasonal list on file in the clerk's office. 3, in the Division of Recreation, approving the seasonal list that's on file in the clerk's office. And 4 is personnel, approving the FMLA, NJFLA leaves that are on file in the Division of Personnel. B is approving the change in the start date to June 3rd of 2024 of Ruben Israel, Parking Enforcement Officer. C, approving the change in start date to May 29th, 2024 of Ginger Cortez, temporary clerk, who's assigned to the municipal court. D is approving the change in the start date to May 29th, 2024 of Garrett Brown, temporary municipal court attendant. E is approving the change in the start date to June 5th of 2024 of Paige Rikaya, Clerk 1, full-time, assigned to the municipal court. F is approving the change in the start date to June 6th of 2024 of Dana Principaro, Clerk 1, full-time, assigned to the municipal court. G is approving the change in start date to July 9th of 2024 of Christopher Banks, police officer recruit. H is approving the start date to July 9th of 2024 of David Canadis, police recruit officer. I is approving the change in the start date to July 9th of 2024 of Nelson Valente, police officer recruit. And J is approving the change in the start date to July 9th, 2024 of Evelina Wisniewski, police officer recruit. Concludes the report. I move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mr. Javits.
Yes.
Caldwell. Yes. Roman.
Yes.
Strano.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaya.
Yes. Go ahead, Councilman Strang.
Okay, as chair of the Department of Community Services, which comprises our DPW, our Buildings and Grounds Department, or Engineering Department. The Engineering Department has resurfaced 3 streets recently in the ward. West 18th Street between Southwood and Winans Avenue was paved. East 14th Street was milled and it's ready for paving tomorrow. I believe that there's, I think maybe it was West 17th Street was also paved in that same stretch. Thank you for tending to those streets that needed that work. It was sorely needed. An additional item in the 7th Ward through Sandra Jackson in our Recreation Department and her husband Mike, they have invited a DEP biologist to well, actually, they did go to Wilson Pond and did a complete study in the health and the environmentally sensitive areas of that and the condition of that pond. And she had, inadvertently forgot about the little pond that we have down in Memorial Park, which is Beano Pond, and they're supposed to be there this Wednesday? Yeah. So thank you for that. And also, I'm trying to coordinate a cleanup there. It's sorely needed, but again, it's an environmentally sensitive area. You have to be very careful about how you go about cleaning that pond. I've been getting complaints about it, and also, even with this rain, the level in the pond, with the hot weather, the water level has dropped almost 6 inches there. It's incredible. Usually what they do is, in a situation like this, have the fire department come in and actually refill it like a swimming pool. But it is what it is. So that's going to be taken care of. We're scheduling a light opening, ribbon cutting for the skate park on August 3rd, which is Saturday, and potentially the 4th if it's a rain date. If we ever get it rained out on something like that. The details aren't formalized yet. Essentially, we're taking down the skate park closed sign. so that you'd be completely legitimate if you're using it. People are using it, but in this weather, I can't blame anybody for not wanting to be out there in the middle of a concrete bowl, sweating your brains out. But I'll be working with the Recreation Department head, Keith Pressey, for a much larger event next spring to be held there at the skate park. Updating the storm sewers, West 20th Street's been, at Clinton Street has been a serious problem. It's something that's a late development in the last year, I would say. We found that the outlet going into the reservoirs for the drainage from essentially the entire Aviation Plaza parking area, or at least half of it, runs down a big storm sewer main down 20th Street and dumps into the reservoir at the refinery. And Joe Kroback got permission to examine the exit of the pipe, and it's clogged solid with floatables, recyclables. It's like probably 20 feet deep. The storm sewers at Clinton Street are holding water for days after it rains, and there's nothing but a trickle coming out of a 36 by 5 foot elliptical pipe. It's incredible. So DPW will be out there tomorrow, I'm told, by our department head. Tomorrow they will be opening up the top of that pipe to essentially use a vac truck and suck all those recyclables out of there. We can't just open up the pipe and let the floatables go into the reservoir. And also, they will be addressing on Wednesday the stretch of Southwood Avenue in the 3000 block, which is between Main Street and the Turnpike Bridge that also has a similar problem. And that concludes my report, Council President. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Councilman Strato. Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, all. I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the Linden Fire Department for their quick response and tireless effort in extinguishing the fire at Hollywood Terrace Apartments this past Sunday. Their bravery and dedication to keeping our community safe is truly commendable. I'm also pleased to announce that thanks to your support, we have been able to pave Orchard Terrace and Edgewood Road to Princeton Road and DeWitt Terrace from St. George Avenue to Edgewood Road. These improvements will make our streets safer and more accessible for all residents. As we continue to enjoy the summer month, please remember to stay cool and stay safe. Thank you for your continuing support and cooperation in making Linden a great place to live. If you have any questions or concern, you can reach me at 908-583-7482 or at arodriguez@linden-nj.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I have a short report this evening. First, I want to start off with reminding everyone tomorrow is a special election to fill the 10th congressional seat. The polls are open tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you were in the 10th congressional district, please go out and vote. We also, with the heat coming up, we're in the middle of another heat wave. We have cooling centers open in Linden. They're located at our Linden Public Library, Gregorio Center, and our multi-purpose center. That's the late one. It's open till 9 p.m. So please, if you know someone that does not have air conditioning and needs to get out of the heat, please tell them to utilize our cooling centers. I want to thank Mike Jackson and Sandy Jackson for the senior picnic. That was July 2nd at Gregorio Center during the senior meeting. Mike Jackson's a retired firefighter, and he volunteers his time. He came, he made chicken for the seniors. All we heard about, talk about opening a business, they want him to open a business on Wood Avenue making chicken, but went above and beyond for our seniors, so we thank him for that, and Sandy as well. Okay, it's concert season. Our recreation department is up and, hopping right now. We have every Tuesday night concerts. On some Friday nights, we have the comedy shows, so please go out. But also, this council, with the help of Sandy Jackson, we do care about our businesses in the city of Linden. We're trying to get them promote their business. A lot of people are not going out to the restaurants like they were. So we're getting some of our businesses to come into the promenade, like Applebee's, for instance, will be at the promenade Friday evening during the Polish rock concert, selling burgers, drinks. So there'll be other vendors at other concerts. So please come out and support them. Okay. And just another friendly reminder, since we're on with recreation, the kids are in the park right now. Please be mindful, there is no smoking in the parks, no dogs, no smoking of any kind, and that includes weed. So please, no smoking in our parks, and they close at 9 p.m. Okay, some people think that the marijuana does not go under the smoking ordinance. Anything that can be smoked is included in there, so. Okay, if you have any questions or if I could assist anyone, my number is 908-494-0880. Okay, we'll now move on with our resolutions. Okay, can we have a motion for approval of resolutions 2024-315 through 2024-339, please?
I move for approval resolution 2024-315 to 2024-339. Can I ask for a second?
Second.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay. We'll now move on to ordinances on first reading. Okay, beginning with ordinance 6840, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999." Passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden that Section 1, Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-11, stopping or standing prohibited shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-11.2, stopping or standing prohibited during certain hours on certain streets. Add East Linden Avenue, South Side, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., from the east curb line of Southwood Avenue to the west curb line of Clinton Street.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 6840, please?
I'll move that, Council President.
Second it.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemerkaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 6841, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999." Passed November 23, 1999, and approved November 24, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 26, Flood Damage Prevention, amended 26-17, Stormwater Control, amend Section 26-17, Stormwater Control as follows.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 6841, please?
I'll move that.
Second.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Yes. Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemerkaitis?
Yes. We'll now move on to comments from members of the public in attendance on city business only. No personal, political, or derogatory comments, not to exceed 3 minutes, please. Okay, we just need to get the,
Excuse me, Council President, did you, for the public?
that's what we're
Okay.
doing.
I had a brain fog.
She's on mine busy. Oh, did you see the deer in the falls there? So,
It's right on the,
Okay, Diane Wilverding.
what do you call it? Yeah, there's a name for that.
Diane Wilverding, 6th Ward. I feel like I'm talking to an empty house. Where did everybody disappear to?
I know.
God, I have some important stuff to talk about. Okay, 324 under the resolutions. It says Wood Avenue Singleization Improvement Project. Commissioner Joe Bodak, is that that's a county road, right?
Yes, but years ago, when the city wanted to do certain actions there, they took responsibility for that road.
Okay, I have a favor, and you know I already talked to you about this. A turning signal onto East Linden Avenue and West Linden Avenue when you're on Wood Avenue, if that could be part of that
I've asked for a
project.
traffic study.
I'm sorry, what?
I've
He
asked for a traffic study.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I was at the food bank today dropping off bags. Again, there's nobody here, but if you know of anybody that gets their food delivered and dropped off in these bags, please save them. The food bank is eventually going to run out of the bags that they use now, which are the paper bags, and then they put them in the plastic bags that are banned from New Jersey. But these are nice and sturdy. So if you know, if you know of people that are getting a lot of food delivered, I mean, I'd be willing to come pick it up, or you could call Council President Yemerkaitis, and I could go get them, because they're eventually going to run out. So if you could spread the word among the people that have left, because I know they have a couple boxes left, but eventually they're going to be out of it. And they put together about 100 bags a day. It's 2 days. It's the third, well, it's this week. Same, yeah. It's Monday and Tuesday, so it's the same as council meeting. And it's all volunteer run, and they do a great job. So these bags are really good. And I think with Amazon, don't they have like a beige kind of bag?
Yes.
So please, donate to the food bank these bags, and I'd be willing to come and get them, or if you tell anybody up on council, because they will be needing them. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. John Kaiser? Not here. Okay, Virginia Malik.
Virginia Malik, Linden Road. I just wanted to make a comment about John talking on boarding houses, things that are happening. I just want to bring up a point that when our property inspector or property manager under the Board of Health is going to do some investigation, that they should actually take some input from someone that's bringing up the issue, because they can get more insight on it and not just use their own discretion in looking at this. They can get some help, and Mrs. Yamakaitis, I think you can address this, and I'll talk to you more about this. The next issue I want to just bring up is last month, Ms. Orman had spoken about property management or the lack of property maintenance, and that's near and dear to me. I have a lot of issues with this. One, flooding in the backyard, that was finally addressed by the engineering department, so thank you very much. That was a great job. Another issue with property maintenance, I was always told that if something is encroaching on your property, well, cut it down. You know, so there was a tree having branches actually lifting the shingles off my roof. Spoke to someone. The people that live next to me do not, the owner does not live there, but they are renters. And so I mentioned this to, through like a sister-in-law, whatever, about this issue. I had to call someone to, and it cost me not an arm and a leg, but it cost me money to cut down the branches. The last issue is on the backyard. I was told by the department that you cannot ask someone that's, let's say, behind you, if their bushes and trees are growing 2, 4, 6, 8 or more feet onto your property that are impeding someone mowing the lawn, whatever, that just do it yourself. Well, I'm going to take a step back. I want you to look at my legs on the bottom. Okay, if you can possibly see it. I have a very severe case of poison ivy. And what happened is that I was told, I put a note in to do something about the lack of maintenance, and said, well, we can't really, make them do it. I came back from a business trip, and what you see, that's only part of it. You don't have to see the back of my legs, and you don't see my midriff, okay? What I have found out is I went to Bartell's. I thought maybe some of the poison ivy was encroaching on my property. It was not. I took pictures. Bartell says, no, that's not poison ivy. My landscaper was at the house. That's not poison ivy. All along my backyard, about 60 feet of property, major poison ivy haven. And just before I left on a business trip last Saturday, a week ago Saturday after the 4th of July, I happened to step into a little patch where I couldn't see the poison ivy underneath some leaves. So I stepped in there. I was down in Houston where they were having no heat, where there's no power, whatever, and I came back with this. So all I can say is people start thinking about in the council with property maintenance and doing it. The only reason why, because I have now the poison ivy, that they are going to be doing something about this because of the poison ivy and not the encroachment of many, many feet of bushes onto my property where I can't even get the lawn mowed. Anyhow, once again.
Feel better, Ms. Malik.
Take a look at this.
I know. Terrible. Okay, Pat Hero?
Pat Hero, 100 West Elizabeth Avenue. I come up here and I hear Ms. Wolverding say about, well, where is everybody? Well, when Council President Yamakaitis says, comments from the public on city business only, no personal, political, or derogatory comments. Well, you don't have to have been published for the Bill of Rights to feel that maybe somebody's First Amendment rights might be feeling a little bit chilled with that comment. After all, when you hear that, what can you say? Political? Well, the governing body has spoken about some political things, but with regard to policy or office or what, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about any personal comments. Well, every time I get up here, I express my personal feelings. Yeah, I know some people would not like to be insulted, and that makes a lot of sense. But you know what? We have personal feelings, and sometimes they get a little bit out of hand. And sometimes, as a member of the governing body, you can judge us by what we make in terms of our comments, as to whether they're valid or not. And derogatory. Well, if you had your property taken away from you, or the potential of having your property taken away from you, you might not be so nice too, as I've witnessed in other communities. And I've also witnessed in Linden with the Linwood. So, you might get just a little bit upset. So I'm saying, maybe you should take our comments from where they come from and not try to say, oh, well, you can't say this, you can't say that, and you can't say the other thing. You're the government. The government does not restrict our speech. That's what makes the United States of America such a great country to live in. It's freedom of speech and to petition the government for a right to redress grievances. I hope you respect that. And I don't really don't feel that much respect either when the council members get 5 minutes, the public only gets 3 minutes. It seems we're not as respected as much as you people are. Also, we can't speak on ordinances on first hearing. We can't speak on resolutions. With all that, I wonder, what are we even doing here? No wonder people don't want to show up for the meetings. We can't speak. And I want to close with 2 quotes. One, where all think alike, you will find also a central office where all the thinking is done. That's by Jonathan P. Dolliver. And I finish with John F. Kennedy, former president. If everyone is thinking alike, then no one is thinking at all. Thank you for your time.
Okay, can we have a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting, please?
And to close the public comments and ask for a second.
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell?
Yes.
Roman?
Yes.
Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Comments from members of the governing body? Anyone wish to speak?
Yeah, I have my hand up.
Okay. Councilman Roman?
Thank you, Council President. I started coming to council meetings in 2010, back when you could still speak as a member of the public. I was only, 22 maybe? I came every month with a lot of people that were sitting here, still coming. Thank you for always coming and trying to keep us honest up here. However, when I first came on board, someone who was very nice to me and tried to teach me what was going on here, Bob Frazier. He was a councilman in the 9th Ward back then. For the first couple of years I was coming here, he's a good man. He passed away this past month, and God bless his soul and his family. So, thank you, Council President.
Okay. Councilman Javik?
Yes, Council President, just want to wish everyone a great and safe summer. Have a nice one.
Thank you. Councilman Strano?
Okay, so when I was speaking about the ponds, it dawned on me that I missed something. So the ponds have aerators in them. We have 2 in Wilson Park and one usually in the Beano Pond, and they were vandalized by beavers, and we've been trying to replace them. That's a lie.
Okay.
Just a joke. There's no beavers in those ponds. A lot of other things, but no beavers. But anyway, so I just want the public to know that we are fully aware that they're not there. It's a matter of all 3 of them are down for the count. They've been rebuilt before. They're beyond repair. And we're having a very difficult time first we had to get quotes and get the vendors to get on board and deliver them. We are in sore need of those aerators, but they are in the process of being purchased, and as soon as we get them in there, they will be reinstalled.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, wait, one more other thing I want to mention. talking about things that, we do for events and what have you. Don't forget, every Monday night, there's a car show at the, behind Chevy's in the Aviation Plaza. And it's a great time if you're a car enthusiast to go out and just, patronize the local restaurants there and visit the people that they actually are the Galvin Hill Cruisers.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks.
Councilman. The next council meeting will be as follows. Council conference meeting Monday, August 19th at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room, City Hall. Council conference meeting Tuesday, August 20th at 6 p.m. in the Council Conference Room. Council meeting Tuesday, August 20th at 7 p.m. in the Council Meeting Room, City Hall. These meetings will be held in person. Can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Caldwell? Roman? Yes. Strano?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mrs. Yurmakaitis?
Yes.